to Portland because of this. And once again, it was in turn number 9.
Very hard to tell there by the angle. You can see that Daly was off, and he's shaking his fist violently at Randy Lewis there. So obviously he felt as though Lewis punted him off. Here's another angle. There you can see Daly sliding off, and this is the infamous turn 9 where it happened, where Sullivan got sideways a while ago. So traffic gets a little thick down there, and there's not a lot of room to negotiate. So I'm sure they came together and got off the course. There we see Daly back in his car.
Well, it may not be over for Derek, as he has gotten back in the race car and at least driving it to the pit area. Derek Daly in the Raynor Motorsports machine headed back for pit road and trying to get the car fired up. Dominic Dobson, by the way, also, we indicated to you, came down the front stretch here just after that little incident, and we said it was a blown motor. It actually was a blown turbocharger, but nevertheless, Dominic Dobson has also retired from competition.
We saw Daly turning his car around at the head of the drag strip up in front of the tire, the scoring tire. There he is back on the course, coming down, obviously heading into his pit to have a check.
Well, he did lose that left front wing, but that can be quickly replaced, and Derek Daly will undoubtedly be able to, or will he? Well, he's unstrapping. Maybe he's unstrapping just to get strapped in again.
Well, it may well be. He pulled his helmet off as well, so they're doing a routine pit stop, putting fresh rubber on, and he's evidently trying to get back in the car. He just went down to get the car fired up, bring it back to his pit, so I'm sure he'll be back in the field here in a moment.
Gary Lee is right there with a further report.
Well, usually a crew member is helping the driver strap in, but all the crew members are tied up right now, changing the front wings, changing tires, refueling the car. So Derek has been trying to strap himself in. The problem was he was sitting on something, perhaps his balaclava. Yeah, he was sitting on the balaclava. He had to climb out, have a crew member reach in and dig it out of the cockpit. Now it's back on. The helmet is going on now as the crew replaces the front wing. The car has been topped off with fuel. Now they lose the power. They had it running. Now it's died. So they have to restart the Lola as they're trying to strap Derek back in the race car.
Well, we indicated that he was unstrapping just to get strapped in again. What happened was he got out of the car, of course, but then got back into the car to drive it to pit road. And what he's doing now is getting suited up and belted in for full-speed, high-level competition on the racetrack. As Gary told you, they've lost power in the car at the moment, trying to get it refired and back out there. Derek Daly from Noblesville, Indiana, involved in the skirmish down in corner number 9 with Randy Lewis. Well, one thing we have not seen a whole lot of, in fact, hardly any in IndyCar competition this year, is the loss of a wheel. And, of course, there were some incidents involving that last year, but they've done something over the winter to prevent that. Here is a quick fact. Quick facts are brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
In seasons past, the major concern during a pit stop was getting the wheel secured so it would not come off. This year, CART has a mandatory wheel locking mechanism. There's a spring-loaded cylinder inside the spindle that corresponds with another spring-loaded cylinder inside the air gun. There are actually pins inside the cylinder that drop down when this is released, allowing the wheel to come off. It's very unlikely we'll see a wheel come off this season unless it comes off with the entire suspension mechanism in a crash.
That car we used for the demonstration, Derek Daly, and there you can see Derek is moving back out onto the racetrack. After that incident up in corner number 9, the car apparently is repaired and Derek is back out there. We'll be back with more right after this. Slowly through the chicane at Portland International as we are under caution once again. Now, that yellow car there bringing up the rear is Rick Mears, and he has just made a pit stop. And Al Unser Jr. has the arms raised in an effort to cool himself off just a little bit as we remain under caution. Our Valvoline in-car camera providing the pictures. Al is third behind Danny Sullivan and Ari Lyondike. Could this cause a problem with overheating these cars running for so long under caution?
No. In fact, it will allow them to cool down a little bit. You know, when you're out there with the throttle down, the friction is generating a lot of heat with the turbocharger at full blow. So when you slow down, they have a tendency to cool off unless you've got a problem. And this will be good in some cases. Some cases it might create a problem when you try to bring it back up to temperature.
Now, Rick Mir has made a pit stop during this caution period, and he has been the only one among the top 10 that has. Might that be a smart pit strategy, you think?
Well, it could. The only thing it does is it moves you back in the queue, and that's exasperating when you've worked your way up and passed a lot of people, and you have to make a late pit stop like that. Bang! You go from your good spot in the queue in the lineup on the yellow to back to the back of the pack.
And the green is about to come out. Look at Danny Sullivan get the jump on Ari Lyondike. Lyondike drops to the inside. The car just did not come up to speed. It's a drag race between Sullivan and Lyondike and Al Unser Jr. Who's going to get through the chicane here? Oh, Lyondike maintains. As a matter of fact, Sullivan dropped back to third. Just some great action there on the restart.
Now, that says a lot for the engines in Lyondike's car. I'll tell you, I have raced against Dick Simon's cars for a number of years, and his engines always scream. They run extremely well. So there is proof that he was able to outdrag them off of turn 9, get down the front straightaway and into the chicane. So he's cooking. It's going to be his day if he doesn't have a problem.
Boy, it sure is. Ari Lyondike is just holding his breath. We're not quite halfway through this race, but certainly Ari Lyondike has been a very positive and great force in this race to the point. Now, here it is again. The green flag comes out, and it's 3 abreast to the chicane.
Yes, and here we see them all charging down in there. Lyondike has the line, really, the best spot. Little Al had to get out of it. Sullivan was on the outside, had no recourse, so it was a matter of picking your spot, getting through that chicane, and then seeing what happens.
You know, Johnny, when that green came out, I thought perhaps there was a problem with Lyondike's car. He just seemed to fall way back, but all of a sudden, boom, he was in the lead again.
Yes, I did too, and it's amazing to see him be able to drag race, as it were, and catch up and pass the other 2 cars like that down the straight, because they're both Chevrolets, and they have a little more torque.
So Danny Sullivan now is trying to get back up into second position, but Al Unser Jr. has that spot at the moment. Sullivan and Al Unser Jr. battling it out here for that second spot. And, of course, we remember a couple of years ago when Danny Sullivan was involved in a battle in this particular area of the racetrack with Michael Andretti, and things didn't turn out too well for Danny as he got into the fence and ended his race.
Boy, Lyondike has really got to cook. His car, you can see there, he has opened up some space on Al Unser and Danny Sullivan, and they're still going.
It's really quite amazing, the performance that Ari Lyondike is turning in here. Gary Lee is in that Dick Simon pit, who is watching his driver, Ari Lyondike, lead this race.
Well, Ari Lyondike is also, in addition to leading this race, become a traffic commentator for ESPN. I went to Dick under that yellow and said, has Ari reported any type of slickness down in turn 9? There's a lot of altercations down there. So he said, hang on a second. So he hits Ari on the radio and says, Gary Lee from ESPN wants to know if there's a problem in turn 9. Ari comes back and says, nope, turn 9's fine. So thanks, Ari.
Well, the whole racetrack is fine with Ari Lyondike right now. He is just having no problems whatsoever. The others